Hello folks, welcome back to the Urban Rider Studio. Today we have an update to John Doe's very lightweight, very flexible, very abrasion resistant XTM hoodie. The two new versions use distinctly different outer fabrics, but they still use the same XTM liner for abrasion resistance, so they still have the same CE rating, but I'll explain both throughout this review. In case I haven't already mentioned it, they have a CE AAA certification, which, considering how lightweight these are, is very impressive. Obviously, that high safety rating is thanks a lot to their own XTM liner that they employ on the inside. It doesn't feel separate from the outside at all. It does feel like there is a continuity between the outer and the inner, but it does give you impressive slide times and abrasion resistance statistics, and it uses aramid fibers extensively throughout. Now, the motorcycle hoodie category isn't a particularly big bracket. There weren't a lot of options in the past before John Doe came out with their XTM hoodie. There are a few new options from the likes of Nox that feel very similar to this, in all honesty, but I'd say probably this does feel a little bit lighter in comparison to a lot of other hoodies that I've tried. I think Risha have one as well, but they are slightly on the thicker side, I think, even than the John Doe. Those aren't necessarily thick items, obviously, by nature of what they are. It's a hoodie. And the whole point really to having something like this, as flexible as this, is that unrivaled comfort. And they really are very, very comfortable things to wear. I'm much more on board with wearing a hoodie whilst I'm on the bike. I can certainly see the merits in that. There are also things like jogging bottoms available. John Doe also have their own version of those. I don't particularly like wearing jogging bottoms, if I'm honest, when I'm out of the house, especially when I'm on the motorcycle, but obviously some people will prefer that. And again, the flexibility is huge in an item like that. So you could, in theory, if you like that look, combine these two together and you'll get an awesome amount of flexibility on the bike. Something that's really important to get right with a hoodie is the size of the hood. And it sounds like a really pedantic point, but some of them just don't get it right. They make it too small and then you're never gonna wear it, in all honesty, because if you stick it on your head, it just looks a bit silly and also just pulls against the rest of the item. With this, it's actually a really good fit for that hood. And crucially, it has a snap so you can fasten down that hood if you need when you're on the bike, when you're riding. You don't want that thing just flapping around aimlessly, so it is good that they've included that snap to secure it. If you're familiar with the brand John Doe, you'll also be familiar with their own armour, their XTM armour, and that is included on this occasion in your arms, so your elbows and your shoulders at level 1 standard. You can also get a back armour plate if you want to. There is a pocket for it on the hoodie. This new grey version uses a very soft outer fabric that is made up primarily of cotton in the majority. It also uses polyester, but extremely soft to the feel. It has very subtle branding across it. It is obviously a very simple item. You have 2 pockets around your waist there. You have a zip on the front, and you can see the liner on the inside when I open it up. As I mentioned, this is their own XTM liner, which they use a lot throughout their items, and it uses aramid fibers for the abrasion resistance. Even the XTM liner, though, is extremely flexible when it comes to sizing across their hoodies, and actually I'd say in general on John Doe's jackets and upper half, they are quite accommodating. This is a medium we've got on the mannequin. Obviously this type of item is very flexible anyway, but you can see it fits the mannequin well. He's a 40-inch chest and really quite broad in the shoulders also. If I were picking for myself with a 38-inch chest roughly, I would probably go for a small, but check our size guide on the website. This new ripstop version has much more of a synthetic feel because the outer composition is slightly different to the other versions that have used more cotton-heavy outer fabrics. So this one still uses cotton. It's 35% cotton and 65% polyester, which is why it feels a little bit tougher, actually, from the outside, maybe a little bit more rugged. Ripstop, obviously, quite a tough material and very hard wearing. Still a decent amount of flexibility, but not quite as much as other versions. As you'll expect, when you open it up, you'll find that abrasion-resistant layer, their own XTM liner, which is made up of aramid fibers and polyester. The only additional features to point out are, of course, the storage on the inside. You have pockets on the left and the right, and at your wrist, you have a loop to put your thumb through to secure the jacket around your wrist. If you are looking for maximal levels of abrasion resistance, comfort and flexibility, then why not look for a hoodie? And if you're in the market for a hoodie, then John Doe definitely is a good company to check out. I'll put links in the description if you want to see these for yourself, and I'll see you soon.